Sup lads, welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be doing another rebuild. It's been a while since I've done the last rebuild, which was on Spurs. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out after this one. That'll be greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Newcastle, and of course the takeover talks are getting more likely of happening every day. And why not rebuild them? And yeah, so if you haven't seen a rebuild before, basically you'll get it as we go along. So let's get started. So we're going to sell 5 players like we do in every episode. We've got Yoshinori Muto, he's been a flop since signing from Mainz. Christian Atsu doesn't play at all. Dwight Gale is not Premier League standard striker. One of those players that's just too good for the Championship, not good enough for the Prem. Kieran Clark, he hasn't really played that much and he is getting on a bit. And Paul Dummett, not great to be honest, and he's going to get sold. Okay, so let's get on with the board expectations. We get a £100 million budget plus an extra 20 million from player sales. League goal push for Europe. I think that's quite a realistic target for the first season. Don't know why there's a colon after that. I'd probably mess something up whilst I was editing. Domestic cup goal. Get to a semi-final. It's quite an ambitious goal, but just a cup run would be fine. And European target none because Newcastle highly unlikely that they'll be in Europe this season. And yeah, let's get on to the transfer targets. So we have a striker, a centre back, a right back, and a centre mid. So I'm going to get through this quite quickly because otherwise we'll be here all day if I spend the normal time talking about them because there is quite a few. First player we're going to get on the strikers is Edinson Cavani. Of course, he is contract at PSG is up at the end of this season. He's Icardi's replacement in the first team. So. And he said he's wanting to look move away, and he'd be a great sign for Newcastle, I think. But would he want to go there? Maybe not. He is still a good striker. He's a great finisher, and his movement. Well, he's not a great finisher. For a striker, his finishing isn't great. I don't know why I said that, but his movement's great. So he'd be a good sign for Newcastle, I think. Hopefully better than Joelinton anyway. Next striker is going to be Michy Batshuayi, another player that's probably going to lead the summer. He's second choice, third choice at Chelsea now. He's never really had a look in since joining them. He's a good player though. He's had good loan spells at Palace last season. I believe it was Dortmund the year before. And he wouldn't be a bad signing for Newcastle. He has proved he's right in the Premier League with Crystal Palace last season, as I said. And yeah, can't really go wrong, and he'd be a good signing. As you can see, his value is only 16 million, which isn't much. And the last strike target's going to be Willian Jose. Of course, as you can see from the status down there, he has been linked with Barcelona before when they were looking for that striker, but eventually went for Martin Braithwaite. He'd be a good signing though for Newcastle. Probably not my favourite to sign, as he is the most expensive and probably, I'd say, second best to Cavani, and he's on a free. So would you rather pay for £22 million for a player that is worse than a player you can get for free? I'm not so sure about that, but he'd probably be the only one really willing to come to Newcastle. I know Sociedad are challenging for Europe, but maybe if they probably won't get Champions League, I highly doubt it. And yeah, he'd be a good addition like most of these players, but I wouldn't go for him personally. Now on to centre-back targets. Maybe this one's a bit unrealistic. It is Kalidou Koulibaly, and he has been linked with Newcastle, to be fair, in recent weeks after the takeover rumours, but Napoli might not get European football either, so it's not a long shot, but it is possible, and apparently they will go all out for him. They have money to spend, they can offer him a big wage, so it's not completely out the window, maybe a little bit unrealistic, but we'll see how that unfolds in the summer. Next centre back is Gabriel Magalhaes, I think is how you say it. I probably butchered that. He's done really well for Lille this season, being linked with the likes of Chelsea and Everton, as you can see on his status. Again, if they don't get Koulibaly, they can't afford him, which they will because of the takeover, obviously. He's only 16 million as well, so that's not too much. And he's only 22 for centre-back, so he's got at least 10 years in him left at the top. As I said, he's done really well for Lille this season, been a little bit of a breakout star. And why not sign him? He looks like a good player. The last centre-back target, James Tarkowski. Had to throw this one really after the two centre-backs. Wasn't really sure, no one else being linked with them apart from those two. But I think Tarkowski would be a good centre-back for Burnley. He's 27 as well. I thought he was the captain up until recently, but that was Ben Mee. So, yeah, I think he will leave Burnley soon. I think he's probably their best player along with Nick Pope. But, yeah, is he ready for European football? I'm not sure he's really a European football centre-back, to be honest. Because he did play a little bit with Burnley last season, I think it was. And yeah, so he'll be a good signing, but I wouldn't go for him, just like I wouldn't go for Willian Jose. Now let's go on to the right back targets. First one, Max Aarons, of course. He'll be quite a good signing, especially if Norwich go down, they can get him on the cheap. They probably will unless the season is null and void. Yeah, as it says in the status, he will be in the Premier League next season, whether that is for Norwich or for a different club. He's been linked with the likes of Spurs, heavily linked with Spurs, to be honest. Apparently, Mourinho tried to call him up a few times. Be a good sign, he's only 20, and I think he has got some good potential. Next right back for me, Serginho Dest, another breakout star for Ajax this season, the American right back. Ajax struggled at right back last season. That was the only position I was really worrying about in their Champions League run. Because of course they had great players all over the park, apart from right back really. But he has been really good for Ajax this season, only 19 as I said. And yeah, not a lot of clubs have been linked with him, which I'm surprised at. And yeah, I think he'd be good to pick up for Newcastle. But would he want to leave Ajax for no European football? Not so sure about that. Of course, the Eredivisie has been cancelled, so not sure what's happening there. And the last right back, Mario Fernandes, he's a lot older than the rest of them, 29, the other two. Of course, he was playing for CSKA Moscow now, was a really good player at the 2018 World Cup for the host nation, Russia. And 22 million is the highest value, so I wouldn't go for him, especially if he's 29, but he could be a good pickup for Newcastle. And the last set of positional targets can be centre mid. Arturo Vidal is the first one. He's been linked with Newcastle. Of course, he wants out of Barcelona. After they're not he's not getting great enough game time there. And he was brought in as a squad player, really. He has played for a lot of big teams as well, like Bayern and Juventus he's played for in the past, also Leverkusen. They're not as big as the other three, but yeah, and he is 32 now, I believe he's going to be 33 in May as well, so he is getting on a bit, and maybe Newcastle could be a little nice destination for him to end his career. Next centre mid is going to be Nabil Fekir, as it says in his state, a bit more of a cam, and he only has spent one season at Real Betis, but he has done really well there. He was going to sign for Liverpool as well, wasn't he? But he failed his medical, so he was almost a Liverpool player, which has been a bit weird. But yeah, he has done really good for Real Betis this season. He's helped them, I believe, they're top 10. Not 100% sure on that though. And yeah, he's been a great player for Betis this season, as I've said about a million times. And I don't think Newcastle picking him up though, to be honest. And the last target is going to be Corentin Tolisso. He's 25. I thought he was a bit younger than that. I thought he was about 23, but clearly not. Of course, Bayern picked him up from Lyon a few years ago, but he hasn't really got game time. He did have an injury though. Of last season, I think it was. I kept him out for like 6 months, maybe a bit more than that. And he's just really never been a first teamer for Bayern, but I can't see Newcastle picking him up either, to be honest. I think he might go back to France with Marseille or Lyon or a team like that, maybe Lille. And yeah, that's me for the targets here on my signing. Edinson Cavani, Kalidou Koulibaly, Max Aarons, Arturo Vidal. I think the budget is a bit wrong about that, guys. I do apologise for that. I got the budget a bit wrong, but let's move on. I believe it will probably be around 90 mil spent, so around 30 million left. So that's just a rough estimate, so it doesn't say that on the screen. And let's go on to the team. So let's have a look at all the players that will be in Newcastle starting 11 next season. First one, Martin Dubravka. Now, if you didn't see my video on every Premier League club's best player, a few weeks ago I did vote him as Newcastle's best player, and he is really underrated. I believe he has had the most saves in Premier League this season. Didn't realise how old he was, though. He is 31, which I suppose isn't too old for a goalkeeper, really. But he's done incredible for Newcastle this season. Really underrated player, in my opinion. Now on to the right back, especially shot stopper. He's really good. Max Aarons' new signing. We've already talked about him quite a bit. The Norwich right back. Quite young as well, 20, and he has done really well for them, especially in some games. But some games he's been a bit visible as well. But it is his first season in the Premier League. He's only 20, and he's playing for bottom of the Premier League side. So you can't really expect too much. Next centre back is going to be Jamal Lascelles, the Newcastle captain, the current captain anyway. He's quite young for a captain as well, only 26. And he's still uncapped as well for England, which is a bit surprising since we've had struggles at centre-back in recent times, especially with like Michael Keane and Phil Jones. But appearances 28, 3, clean sheets 8. So Newcastle are quite a good defensive team, but of course they got Steve Bruce, their manager. By the way, I have appointed Rafa Benitez as the new manager. If you didn't see my 5 managers that can replace Steve Bruce at Newcastle, he's the new manager, by the way. I didn't really talk about managers in the rebuilds, but that could be a thing if you guys want to see it. The other centre-back partner is going to be the new signing, Kalidou Koulibaly. Again, we've already talked about him, so great centre-back. He'll be a fantastic signing for Newcastle. He'll automatically be one of the Premier League's best centre-backs, probably second or third behind Laporte and Van Dijk. Next left-back is going to be Danny Rose. So, of course, he's on loan Newcastle from Spurs at the minute, but I presume they're going to make that deal permanent. I didn't put him in the signings just because I didn't really want to put unknown players in there, just because I presume he's done all right for Newcastle, not too bad. And now defensive midfield, another new signing, Arturo Vidal. You can see from his stats there. I believe he's done really well in terms of goals per minute for a CDM or centre mid. He's got like 6 goals as well, I think, and it says 31 appearances, but most of those have been off the bench. So I believe that is quite a good rate. Did he score in the El Clasico this season? No, I think that was last season. He scored in the El Clasico. Centre mid, first one's John Joe Shelby. He had that brief period when he scored in like 3 consecutive games, and he scored that really good goal against Man City. As you can see, 5 goals. He had that period around November, December where he scored like loads of goals he scored like 5 goals in 6 games, but he's faded off a bit since then. And the last in a bit is going to be Sean Longstaff. His brother is on the bench, the other Longstaff, so we'll get to him later. I mean, he's all right. He shouldn't be getting linked with £50 million moves to Man United. He's not that good. And yeah, no should his brother, to be honest. They're a bit overrated in my opinion. But they've done all right. Especially him, he's been the team, Sean Longstaff's been in the team for quite a while now. And yeah, I guess he's just an average player. Now onto the right wing, Miguel Almiron, of course, he went ages without scoring or assisting, but then now he's burst into life really in the Premier League. 6 goals and 1 assist in all competitions this season. And that was along with the next winger, Alan St. Maximin. Of course, he went loads of games without scoring as well, but he has picked up form recently though. And he is probably, right now he is Newcastle's best outfield player, I'd say. He's such a flary player, and how he plays under Steve Bruce, I have no clue. But he's a great player for Newcastle, and he will stay even if the takeover happens 100%. And the last player, the striker, we've already talked about him, Edinson Cavani. Again, he's 33, but he's still, it's in France he's playing, so banging them in is not amazingly hard. He's still a great legendary striker, along with Suarez, of course, in the Uruguay team. And yeah, that's going to have to do it for the starting 11. There it is in its whole form. I think it's a pretty good team, actually. I think that team could definitely get top 10 in the Premier League. And now for the bench, the final bit of this video. We've got Carl Darlow, the backup keeper, Fabian Schär, who's scored quite a few goals, but I think he's just going to be edged out the team. Hasn't really been starting under Steve Bruce this season. Jetro Willems, again, another player I think they'll make a loan move permanent for. He's been injured quite a bit in the second half of the season. Matty Longstaff, who we talked about earlier. Matt Ritchie could get a move, but maybe next summer, not this summer. Joe Linton, of course, the flop, and Andy Carroll. So 2 strikers on the bench. 2 average target men on the bench, to be totally honest. And yeah, that's going to have to do it for today, guys. Thank you for watching the Rebuilding Newcastle. If you want to see more rebuilds, leave a like, subscribe, share, comment. All that would be greatly appreciated. Turn on the bell. And also, we're still doing subscriber shout-outs. Haven't got any to shout out today. But all you need to do if you want to shout out, subscribe. And unless you're a private channel, then it won't come up. But I can still say shout out to the 30th subscriber or something like that. Or if you are public, I'll just shout out your name. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys soon.